That man and his manga.
I come to you from the floor, hurting my knees so we can talk about the things that I have bought this month. First up, we have Monster Girl Doctor Light Novel Volume 3. I absolutely loved Light Novel Volume 1 and 2. I actually still need to pick up the physical version of Light Novel Volume 1. However, I did notice that Monster Girl Doctor Volume 3 was getting more and more harder to find, and this is a title that is ongoing as an anime now, and I thought, you know what, it's one of those things, yeah, it's harder to find, so I was just like, I'll pick it up, and straight away I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna read it. This has a dragon on the front, because we don't see many dragon girls. Actually, we do see some dragon girls. There actually is one in the rest of this haul. But yeah, this is Monster Girl Doctor. I really like this series. It is quite trashy. It's not going to be to everybody's tastes, but I really like the whole narrative and world building that they've done for this. It's like a normal fantasy kind of thing, but it's got monster girls inside as well. So if you like monster girls, you're probably going to have a fun time. I do plan on doing a little bit more coverage on this series now that the anime is out, because yeah, it's something I really want to talk a little bit more about. I'm not that far into Volume 3, but it's getting rather interesting, and from the chapter titles it's going to get incredibly tense, especially towards the end of it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. It's if you like monster girls, you're probably going to have a bit of a fun time with this one. Next up, I picked up Volumes 1 to 2, Volumes 3 to 4, and Volumes 5 to 6 of To Love Ru. I've only read Volume 1 and 2, obviously these are the omnibus editions from Ghost Ship 7 Seas, and I haven't read the rest. The reason I picked up the rest is because I think this one was only £10 or something like that. It was incredibly cheap, and I was just like, oh, I'll get this, and I was like, well, I need to get this, and this one wasn't quite as cheap. Some of them are retailing, I can find some of these for like anywhere from £10 to about £13, whereas some of them are £18, which, because you're getting 2 volumes, £9 each at a volume, I can't really complain too much about that. But yeah, if I'm going to get them cheap, I will. And then I didn't buy Volumes 7 and 8 because I thought I want to read them, I want to make sure I'm caught up. And it looks like it's going to be hard to get Volume 7 to 8. At the moment, currently on Amazon, for Volume 7 to 8, it is currently, I believe, £13 for the actual volume, plus £22 shipping. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's only been out for less than 2 years as well, so I'm really hoping that this is not going out of print. Much like this, I'm really hoping that this is going to be more of a hard to get stock kind of thing, because we are finding, especially in the UK, that there's a lot of titles that are going out of stock, and they're saying, oh, we don't know if we're going to get any more of these back in, and I'm just like, okay, so yeah. So I'm still waiting on stuff from March. Actually, I'm still waiting on an order that I placed in January for Overlord Volume 12, which released last month. It was delayed, and it still hasn't turned up. I haven't even dispatched it. The place I ordered from is not getting any new manga in for a long time. So yeah, manga is actually really drying up in the UK at the moment, unless you want the Viz stuff, which I don't really collect, to be honest. But yeah, To Love Ru, I really enjoyed what I read of Volume 1 to 2. I'm looking forward to sinking in for the rest of it. Next up, we have Volume 9 of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Yeah, I love this series. I really enjoyed it. I know a few people don't like it and think it's a bit problematic. But yeah, this is one of those ones where it does have a few issues earlier on. But as it goes on, a lot of the ecchi stuff and stuff like that kind of just disappears. It gets more and more a slice of life. I'm really interested to see how this goes and how much more it's going to kind of go on for, because we're kind of at the point of most of these slice of life titles where they kind of start not dropping off, but they kind of I don't know, they kind of start like wrapping themselves up a little bit as once it gets to double digits, and we kind of see one come out every other year, and it's kind of just like, oh, what's going to happen here? And you're just kind of like, oh yeah, yeah, this is fine. But yeah, Volume 9 was a lot of fun. It has Fafnir trying to build a computer, and he builds a cursed PC. Yeah, that's kind of what we're explaining here. It's one of these other ones where it's like these where you have them as kind of technical kind of things. It's like it's gamer girls doing this kind of thing, and like a new game or Umaru-chan or Lucky Star, and if you like those, you're probably going to have a lot of fun with Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. There's more than enough content now in the manga to at least get season 2, which I know we're not going to see for quite a while, unfortunately, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to read. I would still recommend picking it up if you are interested in the series. Next up is a title that I picked up as a blind buy, My Dress Up Darling. This one I didn't know much about, and I kind of just read the synopsis, and it was about cosplay and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, you know what, I want to expand my mind a little bit, and I picked it up, and yeah, this was a lot more spicy and ecchi than I originally kind of expected. Parental advisory, explicit content, by Square Enix publications. Actually, something I should point out is that nearly every other publisher seems to have issues with getting stuff to the UK via Amazon, whereas Square Enix had the next volume I picked up, and it came out literally straight away, like bang on the release date via Amazon, and it's like that's pretty much unheard of when it comes to it. But yeah, this is about a young man who likes dolls. There he is, looking all shoujo-ish. And he befriends this popular girl. She finds out about his exceptional doll making, and she ropes him into making cosplay because she wants to be the best ecchi cosplayer of all time. Yes, that's right, she wants to be a girl who is a hentai character. And I was just like, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, yeah, that's it, you've sold the story to me. But yeah, if you are interested in cosplay, you will get a lot of mileage out of this one. I was really surprised at how good this was, and I'm really glad I actually picked it up and took the chance with it. In fact, this is what I'm finding with a lot of these ones, where I've picked up a lot of volume 1s. I've actually been quite naughty because I did say in a recent video that I was trying not to buy any new series, and then I've ended up buying like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's about 6 or 7 new series here that I've never touched before. So yeah, that was a bit of an interesting whole saga, I suppose. The next one, as we've already seen, is Volume 2 of High Score Girl by Square Enix Publications, or Square Enix Manga. I haven't read this one yet. I'm looking forward to it. In fact, it's probably the next one on my list. I'll just try to balance everything out and read some new stuff while reading some old stuff and just kind of go on. I did do a video on this one and I really enjoyed it. I really actually love this series. I watched the anime quite some time ago, and it's been long enough that I've forgot stuff from the anime, but not long enough that I've kind of lost the love from it. It still is a title that I would really recommend picking up or trying out sometime. I don't know if Square Enix stuff is actually getting digitally released, which could be a problem in the future, but yeah, we'll see how it goes with Square Enix publications. But yeah, this was another fantastic title that I would recommend people check out at some point. The only thing I don't like, and this was a thing with Volume 1, as you can see, like, you can kind of see the pages coming out. The covers are like a little bit too short. I wonder if it's the same with My Dress Up Darling as well. Yeah, it's just a little bit. The cover's a little bit too small for the pages. The pages seem a little bit bigger, which I hope something that's resolved soon, because I mean, at the end of the day, you put it on a shelf and it's either like that, or you're kind of stacking it, or whatever you're doing, so you can't see it. But yeah, it's just kind of slightly irritating. Next up is an original English light novel. This is Lord of Goblins, and I was given this to review, and I quite enjoyed it. It was quite fun. This was my very first original English light novel, which, in other words, is a book. But yeah, it's an isekai. He gets transported into another world after being assassinated, and he turns into a goblin. And the main character has to rise through the ranks of Goblin society to try and take back the slaves and free them. And it's, yeah, it is rather intriguing. The first 50 or 60 pages are very difficult. It kind of goes back and forth between flashbacks and going to the current day, and it's the main character's got his original name and he's got his goblin name, and it's kind of a little bit confusing. But as things go on, it does get a lot better. It does kind of clear things up a little bit, and it becomes a really fantastic read. I was really impressed by how it went on. Really enjoyed it. So we've looked at Square Enix manga, a newcomer into the manga publication thing. We do have quite a few manga publications now popping up, including, I think one's called, I can't remember the names, but there's a few of them are releasing a few ones. There's a new light novel imprint and there's a new manga imprint, which I've never picked up any of their titles quite yet. I'm waiting for the digital distribution. However, there was another person who went away and did their own imprint, their own publication, and it was a publication that I've heard a few things about, a few negative things, a few people who don't like them, and a few people, especially as of late when they started picking up some major announcements, and that was Denpa Books. So this is Maiden Railways by Denpa Books, or published by Denpa Books. I actually just finished reading this, and this was an absolute beautiful read. It is a romance romance manga about, it's like an anthology. It's got about 7 different stories, all different people meeting each other in different circumstances, and yeah, it's rather good. I really enjoyed what I read of it, and it's self-contained, but I want to point out the quality of these. I mean, look at that. It's got flaps, much like the beautiful slip covers that we get in the Japanese manga. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. The quality felt really nice. It felt more like a Japanese manga than it did in terms of quality than it did an English one. But yeah, this is self-contained. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to try and do a full-on review of it some other time, because it's worth it. Hail Denpa, for they are certainly a publisher. Next up from Denpa, we have Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji. Yes, that other gambling manga that is not Yu-Gi-Oh! And doesn't have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Or gambling lesbians like Kakaguri does. Yes, this is an absolute classic. It's one of those titles that I feel is a classic, but not many people seem to know about it. It's one of those ones where it was kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But when I wasn't even bothering with anime and manga, when I didn't even bother, like, I was like literally reading One Piece week on week, and that was literally my start and end of manga at that point, for that 5 years or whatever it was. I actually watched Kaiji. I was recommended this, and originally I really couldn't get into it. The artwork really didn't gel with me, but as I went on, I did fall in love with it. But yeah, originally I wasn't going to buy this because Kaiji has like 71 volumes or something ridiculous like that. However, Denpa recently announced that they're only going to be doing 6 anthologies, which is going to be, what, the first 12 volumes? Which I'm assuming is the first original Kaiji story. So I was just like, you know what, I might as well get it. I mean, at this point, we're getting like 1 volume a year. So I'm not really going to complain too much about that, because if it's 1 volume a year, I can kind of do that. The problem's going to be when I kind of run out of space buying all titles like High Score Girl or To Love Ru, and I can't have the space for Kaiji. I've been really bad with the anthologies. I've bought a lot of anthologies as of late, because I don't know why. A lot of series are getting anthologies as of late, and yeah, they take up a lot more space, but you are getting a lot more content. And I'm not going to lie, the anthologies or the omnibus editions seem to be ones that are, in my opinion, classics. The titles are kind of, they've been around for a while, so you kind of know whether or not they're going to be good or bad. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into Kaiji. It looks like a really fun read. Well, I say it looks like, I've already watched the anime, so I kind of have an idea what it's going to be. Deaf Games. By which I mean, he might die, not he can't hear. Mommy, wow! I'm a manga tuber now. Just for the record, if you don't own this one, doesn't mean you're not a manga tuber. I'm making a joke because just about everybody who owns manga seems to own this one. And it's the most underrated title that everybody says is the best title ever. Yeah. So yeah, I finally picked up Nataki Urasa's Monster Volume 1, it was £6 on Amazon. I couldn't afford not to. And I have yet to read it because, yeah, that's just the way things are going. I'm buying stuff and not reading them quite yet because, yeah, that's just the way things are going. I'm looking forward to it. I read Volume 1 of Pluto. I own Volume 2 of Pluto. I just haven't read it anymore. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how good this is. Whether or not I'll continue with it is another question, because at the moment I genuinely do not have the space for 9 or 10 volumes of a particular series, especially when I want to pick up more Urusei Yatsura, Tengo Tenge, Kaiji, To Love Ru, and pretty much everything else that I'm already collecting. So I think that there's going to be some difficult decisions that I'm going to have to kind of get rid of some older stuff to make space for some of these. One of the things that did annoy is that you can't seem to get these ones on digitally, so even if I did want to buy them digitally, I can't. So annoying. But yeah, I'm going to read it and see if I enjoy it. It's got a lot of prestige for it. It's got a lot of hype for it. Whether or not it'll live up to the hype in my eyes or be incredibly overrated in my eyes, that remains to be seen. I do have high hopes because a lot of, like I said, a lot of people do seem to like this one, and I did enjoy Pluto enough that I'm looking forward to seeing it. Next up is some unique little oddities for the collection, and the first one is volume 44 of One Piece in Polish. My friends went to Poland before the lockdown and they brought this back along with another volume of another series. So yeah, I just thought I'd look at it. Let's see, what is Nico Robin's name in Polish? We will soon find out, except I will do it off screen because yeah, this is going to get captured by Viz and I'll be thrown in jail, thrown in manga jail, the worst kind of jail. They make you read Boruto over and over again. Nico Robin's name in Polish is Nico Robin. Yeah, all of the names are kind of just the same. Oh, instead of Soga King, we've got Snajabra King, Kokoro. Has anybody else got any different names? Frankie, Kiwi, Mozu, Rob Lucci. Everyone's got the same. Oh no, Shanks has a different name. Wow, I can't even pronounce that. The things we learn. But yeah, it was just a little oddity that I got given, and I was just like, yeah, I'm happy with that. There's not really much else to see. It's a nice, cool thing. And maybe I'll do a comparison between these and the English and the Japanese versions at some point, like I did with the Japanese to English one. But yeah, we'll have a look into it in the near future. Also from Poland is another title, which is Girls and Panzer, or Girls and Panzer, Volume 1. I do have this in English as well, which I've never actually covered. It's a title that, yeah, I love the anime. The anime is one of my favourite anime of all time. But the manga I never really kind of got into, even though I own the entire thing. I bought it because it was Girls and Panzer. It focuses on Yukari, who is the best girl, so yeah, we know it's going to be good. So yeah, this also has the whole slipcover kind of thing going on like Japan does, so that is a nice little change. And yeah, I don't know if everyone's names are the same. I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah, it's Girls and Panzer in manga Polish form. Also, we have One Piece 91 in English. As we already know, I don't buy these things in English, and the reason being is because, well, they do stuff like this, which is this could be considered a war crime in some circles. Absolutely disgusting, and this happens in volume 92 as well. They cut off probably the best gag in recent One Piece history by putting giant numbers on the front. I mean, you know, they managed to not have a giant number on the front. Sort yourself out, Viz. This is treason, possibly. But yeah, I picked it up because I wanted to do a video on comparison between the Japanese and English versions, which you can see. Check that out at the end of the video. I'll put a link in for that because, yeah, it's something, if you're not 100% on the differences between the Japanese and English manga, there's some really eye-opening stuff. But yeah, it's One Piece 91. I can't open that because I'll get put in jail, manga jail. Yeah, I'd probably be in manga jail anyway. But yeah, it's One Piece 91 with treason. Good old times indeed. And that's my collection. Like I said, go check out the video on the Japanese to English manga differences. You'll feed me more manga stuff.